11 signs you're clearly dating a narcissistic woman. How to spot a narcissistic girl. Have you ever come across a girl who flirted with you intensely and used her sexuality to seduce you? Well, if that's the case, there is a good chance that she was a narcissist. Narcissistic women will often use their sexuality to draw men in fairly early from the time they initially meet or interact with. She often wants you to get addicted to her and entangle you in a web of dependency and emotional neediness. Her goal is to hook you, to crave the emotional and sexual highs of her attention, all in an effort to manipulate you and actually diminish your personal power. This enables her to mold your behavior to suit her needs and do with you as she pleases. The truth about narcissists of all kinds is that they have quite a fragile ego and not a good sense of their real self. What makes a narcissistic woman so hard to spot is the fact that she can appear to be so charming and delightful to be around at first. You are her new toy and she will gladly play around with you for a little while until she doesn't need you anymore. Narcissism is extreme self-involvement to the degree that it makes a person ignore the needs of those around them. So as time goes on and your relationship with a narcissistic woman progresses, you will often feel neglected and like she doesn't see you. In this video, we are going to discuss the 11 signs that will indicate to you that you are dating or dealing with a female narcissist. The Better Playbook is all about providing you with inspiring and easy to implement dating tips and strategies to help you better connect with the women you want. It is our goal to empower you to act, date, and be a confident, high-value guy. So stay tuned and smash that like button to like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you want to learn some uncommon ways to best cope with narcissistic women, be sure to watch this video until the very end. So the first way you know you're dealing with a female narcissist is if she thinks and acts like it's all about me and my interests. Narcissists are really good opportunistic exploiters who seek to get their needs and interests met at all costs, even if it comes at your expense. She makes herself the subject of every conversation, and everything that happens to you is only interesting as it relates to her. Every story revolves around her and her feelings take precedence over yours. Her narrative is often centered around, what are you going to do for me? And she will take advantage of every opportunity she gets to advance herself and her interests. She will often exploit you without guilt and shame and use you as long as it suits her. The second clear sign she's a narcissist is if she lacks empathy. Her natural instinct is to be a taker and focus more on what she can get from you rather than give you. Asking you about your day, how you feel, and what is going through your head doesn't come naturally to her. She finds it difficult to ask you deep questions and often prefers to keep things at surface level. That is, of course, as long as the topic does not relate to her. An example might be that you enthusiastically tell her, "Hey babe, guess what? I just received a promotion." To which she just responds with a short, "Okay, great," and then reverts the conversation back to herself and mentions something amazing that's happened to her instead. When you date a narcissistic woman, you will often feel like your wants and needs are not truly heard nor fulfilled. The third way you will know she's a narcissist is if she shows off her appearance and possessions excessively. Whether it is obsessively showing off her experiences on social media or spending lavishly on her outfits, spending money is often a coping mechanism that helps her fill a void. It kind of provides her that quick fix to make her feel better about herself and get an instant acknowledgement for her looks. Her need for constant attention often comes from a place of low self-esteem and seeking validation. She will typically upload stories or posts quite obsessively and seek constant admiration and validation for her external looks and or possessions. She will also tend to take forever to get ready and use a sometimes obscene amount of makeup. Loving yourself and sharing your experiences are great when it comes from the right intentions, but with a female narcissist, it will often feel forced and not really authentic. The fourth way she will prove her narcissism is by showing that she's really entitled and seeks constant attention. A narcissistic woman expects to have special treatment given to her. She will be mad if you don't keep your word, show up late, or don't make her feel like the center of attention. While she fully expects you to put her on a pedestal and give her your undivided attention, she will rarely reciprocate and do the same for you. An example of her sense of entitlement would be expecting you to bring her something non-urgent during your workday, or wanting you to drop a pre-planned evening with your buddies just because she is in a certain mood. Unless you have strong boundaries and learn to say no, a narcissistic woman can completely take over your life and become a huge distraction. The fifth way a narcissistic woman tends to act is she's prone to frequent temper tantrums, especially if she's not given special treatment. The angry outbursts of a female narcissist often appear out of nowhere and are designed to trigger the emotions of the guy she's dating. A female narcissist will typically throw a tantrum when you either shatter her fantasy of being the only person that matters and/or reveal any of her insecurities, even if you didn't mean to. She will also be triggered if you don't give her non-stop attention, challenge her perceived superiority to others, and don't go along with her derogatory behavior. A female narcissist is often a bully, and because of her me focus and sense of entitlement, she will tend to have very high standards for how you and others should treat her. Nevertheless, she doesn't hold herself to the same standard and is prone to disrespect others. She will easily lash out at you or anyone who doesn't give her the royal treatment and doesn't make her feel special. Her temper tantrums are often designed to trigger your emotions and hold you hostage to her mood swings. Her outbursts show the ultimate in selfish behavior, as everything immediately becomes about her and what she wants. The sixth way she displays her narcissistic tendencies is if she's overly sensitive to criticism. A narcissistic woman will quite easily talk down her man and often make him feel like he's not good enough. Nevertheless, if he even so much as dares to tell her anything that he needs from her or critiques her in any way, she will take it personally and have an emotional reaction. Her reactions are typically quite extreme and meant to neutralize your ability to critique her. Even when you constructively tell her what you need from her, she will still find a way to take it personal and turn the tables on you. Narcissistic women go between feeling inferior and superior to others and feel offended or anxious when others don't treat them as if they're special. Therefore, if you criticize a narcissistic girl, it negates her strong need to be validated and made to feel special, and is bound to trigger a strong emotional reaction from her. The seventh pretty hurtful way you will feel her narcissism is if she gaslights you. Gaslighting is a form of psychological and emotional abuse, whereby the gaslighter tries to make you doubt yourself. This is a very common tool in a narcissistic woman's arsenal that she will use to lie and exaggerate and/or make you question your own perception of reality. If you, for example, call her out on something she said or did that is incongruent with what she's saying or doing at the moment, she will tell you, "You never remember things accurately," or "You typically have a bad memory. Are you sure?" She will rarely, if ever, admit any of her mistakes and try to turn the tables on you. She will also almost always resort to aggression by doubling or tripling down on her false accusations or coercions in an effort to intimidate or oppress you. She will deny your reality and how you feel in the moment, so she can make you question yourself and what you stand for. In order to maintain her manipulative grip on you, she often has to resort to diminishing your personal power. Gaslighting is an effective tool to achieve just that. The eighth way you will sense her narcissistic energy is by the fact that she's never truly satisfied. A narcissistic woman typically sets her sights on something, a person, a job, or a material possession, and once it is hers, she tires of it due to her unrealistic expectations. Even if she gets what she wants, the initial pleasure the attainment brought ends up fading, and she's yearning for more. As a result, no matter where you take her and what you do for for her, it will never be fully appreciated nor have a lasting impact on her. Expensive dinners, exotic vacations, or lavish gifts might get her to be temporarily excited, but she will always crave for more attention and constant validation, and no amount of effort will quite fill her emotional void. Fulfilling her voracious appetite and craving for more attention, experiences, and material things is bound to require huge amounts of energy and attention from you, and thus is likely to exhaust you. The 9th way she will put her narcissism on display is when she takes credit for everything and wants to be the hero in every story. A narcissistic girl will take credit for anything good that has ever happened to you and everything good you ever did. The way she sees it, every one of your achievements are due to her being in the picture or contributing in some way. It is hard for her to fully concede and acknowledge your efforts, achievements, and greatness. She somehow has to always be in the limelight, and it is hard for her to share any type of success with you. The 10th way her narcissism will disappoint you is she does not keep her promises nor follows through. A narcissistic woman knows exactly how to win your affection and praise. She will lavishly embellish her own good qualities and vilify her exes or other people. She will also tend to make you big promises and make you feel excited about the prospects of being with her. Nevertheless, just when you thought you could count on her, she will fall short of her promises, will disappoint you, and will find every conceivable excuse to justify her lack of integrity and inaction. She will use her charm to convince you of her innocence and that this time is different. Unfortunately, over time, a narcissistic woman will tend to disappoint you over and over again. Unless supporting you supports her interests, you will simply not be top of mind enough for her to remember being there when it counts. You will tend to feel alone and like she doesn't really support you. The 11th way you will sense her narcissistic energy is by the fact that she will tend to stonewall and give you the silent treatment. Stonewalling is the refusal to communicate with someone. It means she refuses to listen to you and your concerns. It is healthy to take a timeout when you argue about something as a way to avoid saying something hurtful in the heat of the moment. Nevertheless, taking a silent, long timeout as a method of controlling others is a form of emotional abuse. A narcissistic girl will give you the silent treatment more than almost anyone else. She often finds ways to make you dependable on her, so by not talking to you, she feels like she's punishing you for either not making her feel special enough or yielding to her demands. This can often include withholding sex as a weapon to control you. If you have a sense you are dating or talking to a narcissistic woman, then the first step is to recognize it and accept her for who she really is. Then it is also important to not feed into her narcissistic tendencies. You have to maintain your own boundaries and not allow her to infiltrate your sense of self and/or define your world. You have to therefore set clear boundaries with her. Expect her to push back and remember that she's often projecting her own insecurities on you. Narcissistic personality disorder is a real mental disease, and you therefore might want to support her in seeking out some professional help. At the core of a narcissistic personality disorder is often an intense fear of abandonment. So by being there for her consistently, you can often mitigate some of her narcissistic behavior. You have to ask yourself, do I love her or want to be with her enough to be willing to pay the price of having to deal with her narcissistic tendencies? Even though you might hope to change her, it is more realistic to strive to have an impact on her. That being said, if the emotional turmoil in the relationship makes you feel anxious, powerless, and deeply dissatisfied, then breaking up with her is the only choice you should consider. Breakups with narcissistic girls can get quite messy, so if you do end up going that route, be sure to be mentally prepared. We hope you've enjoyed this video and get a sense of just how much we put into it. Please do go ahead and smash the like button and subscribe to the channel to stay in the loop. It is our goal to empower you to act, date, and be a confident, high-value guy. Please share your stories of dating narcissistic girls in the comments. Feel free to also comment on whether or not you agree with the traits we have outlined and want to mention additional ones.